So for section 2-5, I'm looking for a very basic, this is not a trick question here, okay? A very basic word. It's not even a math word, okay? If you were to ask me, and I've already told you, I think I told you how old I am, but forget it. Pretend I didn't tell you how old I was, okay? Mm-hmm. If I told you, if I was going to give you 2 clues, I'm looking for a very, very common word that everybody knows this word, okay?
Did you say you were like 57?
No, he's 50.
50, exactly. Okay?
Yeah, 57, definitely.
So, anyhow, if I was to tell you that if you're going to guess my age, and I was going to give you 2 clues, and I told you that I'm older than 40 and I'm younger than 60, okay? I told you I'm older than 40 and I'm younger than 60. Could you change the way I said that? I'm looking for a really simple, could you tell me, I'm basically saying I'm what? I got to be...
You're between.
Between. That's the word I'm looking for. Between. Between 40 and 60, okay? So if I say I'm older than something and younger than something, I'm saying I'm in between there, okay? So what I want you to understand is this, and this is not a problem from your assignment yet. Could you close your lid up there, please, Logan? Thank you, sir. What's going to look a little bit different on our graphs are stuff like this. If I said I'm between 40 and 60, now be careful on this one. If I'm older than 40, could I be 40?
Yeah.
I'm older than 40.
Oh, no, you cannot, because you can't.
I could be 40 in one day. I could be. Or be 40 in 1 second, actually.
40.
I can't be exactly 40, okay? Could I be 60 if I'm between 40 and 60?
No.
No.
You have to be below.
So what it would look like is, on our graph, here's 40. Would it be open or closed out at 40? Could I be 40?
Open.
It'd be open. And how about at 60?
Open.
Open and be everything in between there, okay? So that's the way you would write that is, this is what's sort of tricky is this. You'd write 40 is less than x and is less than 60. And you have to write it. It's so much easier. We know there's always 2 ways you can write an inequality. Okay? For example, if I said my age is older than Maurer's, another way we could say that is Maurer's age is younger or smaller than mine. Okay? But when you're writing these, like these are what are called compound inequalities, it's easiest if you always start. Now, we usually like to have our variable on the left. We can't really have it on the left, though. It's got to be in the middle because it's in between. Okay? Like Cameron said, it's got to be in between. So it's between 40 and 60. It's easiest if you start with the smallest number and then the bigger number, put that in between, then always put less than signs. And what if we switch them around? What if I went 40? What if I wrote that? Who said that? It doesn't make sense. Why?
Because.
You're larger.
I agree.
Yeah, because.
X is bigger than 40.
If 40 is, think about this. Forget about this for a second here.
Bigger than X.
But nothing can be bigger than, it's not bigger than 50.
Exactly. Well, think about this, okay? Your grandpa is older than your dad, okay? And your dad is older than you. And we all know this, but therefore your grandpa's got to be what? Older than
Me.
you. Has to be. Of course he is. Well, okay. How about this? Let's just say this. Let's say your grandpa has money. Say he's loaded, okay? He's got a lot of money. He's got more money than your dad. And your dad probably has more money than you. Parents usually have more money than their kids, usually. Okay? So your grandpa's got to have more money than you. He's got to, okay? Well, if we switched them around, okay? Let's go back to ages. If you were old, now I don't know how old your dad is, okay? Well, I don't know much. Let's stick with ages. Let's stick with ages. Okay? If you are older than your dad and your dad is older than your grandpa, you would have to be older than your grandpa, okay? Well, look at it this right here. If 40 is bigger than x and x is bigger than 60, 40's got to be what? Bigger than 60. And
Bigger than X.
yeah, but listen to what you just said. 40's not bigger than 60. It's not. Okay? 40 is smaller than 60. So what I'm getting at, this is kind of a long way of doing it. When you're writing a compound sentence like this, always have your littler one and then your bigger one and always put less than signs. I usually have at least one person say, can you ever have one facing this way and one facing that way? No. They're always, now, you could have done this. You could have put them going like this and had X in the middle, but what would you have over here? 60 and then 40, which is right.
Well,
But I think it's easiest if you start with the smaller number and put less than. It's smaller than less than, okay, for both of them. Okay, now, talk about one more thing, then we're going to dive into the assignment, okay? there's two different kinds of compound sentences, okay? One of them is an and one. We changed it to between. I said, I'm older than 40 and I'm younger than 60. That's a compound sentence. And I can also put an or statement, okay? What if I told you this? Think about this for a second. What if I changed and to or? If I told you, I'm going to give you two clues about my age. I'm older than 40 or I'm younger than 60, okay? I'm older than 40 or I'm younger than 60. Does that change the information that I gave you? I'm older than 40.
No, but it sounds more complex.
Well, how many clues did I give you right there? I'm older than 40 or I'm younger than 60. I really didn't give you any.
Yeah.
I'm going to write that down. I'm older than 40
Older than 40, but
Or-
younger than 60.
younger.
So it could be either one.
Well, could I be
What is
could
that?
I be 30? Could I be 30?
No.
No, because you're older than 40.
Yes, I could. Why?
Because it's younger than you.
Because I'm younger than 60. Could I be 100?
Yeah. 'cause
Why?
You're older than 40.
Okay. What age could I be?
Any.
So I didn't give you any clues. I didn't give you any clues, okay? So forget about me for a second. If you were to say, well, how did I do on my test? How did I do my test? I said, well, tell you what, you did better. I want to make sure you understand the difference here. Better than 70 and worse than 90. Okay?
So it's between.
Somewhere in between. Yeah, somewhere between 70 and 90. Okay? But what if I said, you got better than 70 or you got worse than 90, you know?
Well, then you could have less than 90.
Yeah, so I mean, could you get a 10? Could you get a 10%?
Yeah.
Yeah, why?
Could you have gotten
Oh,
any?
that's worse than.
It's worse than 90. Could it have been 100%?
Yeah.
Yeah, why?
Better than 70.
So how many clues did I give you there? None. Every number you could possibly think of is either better than 70 or smaller than 90. You can't think of a number that doesn't fit there. So I didn't really give you any clues, okay? So for an or statement, okay, it's just one or the other, okay? For an and statement, you got to find out what they have in common, okay? Bigger than 70 and smaller than 90, it's everything in between. Or it's just, you just do both of them and you're done, okay? So what I'm getting at is this. Let me throw this up here. All right. Let's see. Come on. There we go. All right. Oops, come on, hurry up. All right. Okay, so let's look at exercise 3. This is the actual assignment on 2-5. Okay. If you don't have a sheet of paper, grab a sheet of paper. Okay. Oh, also, get this. Also, we do have a new student in the class, Eleanor. Okay. And what school did you come from before? Bronson? Okay.
She
I'm
came
just gonna
here.
put this off for right now. When you get a laptop, you can just transfer them from that. So you can write all of that if you'd like.
Weren't you here last year? Oh, that's okay. Never mind. That's probably me.
You wanna grab it? Thank you.
Do you know who Kyle is?
Who?
Kyle. I don't know his last name, to be honest with you.
Is he like Mexican?
Yes,
You
he's
just hang
very
out.
much Mexican.
It takes a second.
Why?
No, he used to be my best friend. We're not friends. We're not really.
Is he weird? Your friend was?
It takes a second.
No,
Don't-
he's not. He's very.
There's a
Definitely the
long
opposite.
delay on my phone for some reason. Was it Tim? Do you
No,
know?
he's weird.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
He's nowhere near what I am.
Oh, you did mute. It said mute. It says mute. Mute it.
Nay.
Pepper. No.
And then her sister Destiny.
Destiny.
Hello?
I got no idea who it is.
That's Kyle's sister.
You ever, no,
Who's Kyle?
just head on down there, sure.
Mexican?
Yes, the Mexican.
Mexican?
Yes.
That makes sense.
Just, you know, until I get it'll reboot itself.
Is that supposed to be racist or no?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Does that look like a mix there?
tape, and there we go, okay. All right, so, just grab paper and pencil, we already have one. You guys got paper and pencil out? No? Get a piece of paper out, come on.
I got
Yeah,
one.
yeah, you do. You're trying to do it all in your head, you get 40%.
No, it's just that I'll actually do it instead of just clickety clacking.
Huh? No, you need to be able to do it on paper, or you
Stop
can clock
that
it.
record.
Okay. There you go, you're all set. You got something to write with?
You really came to class prepared this time.
This yours?
No.
There you go. Get a pen. You're all set. A pretty pink pen for you. Okay, so let's look at number 3. Okay, it says write a compound inequality that's represented by the graph. So they have a -3 and a 2. -3 and 2. -3 and a 2. Is it open and closed? Okay. And I always do these above the graph instead of on the graph because you can't really see it if it's on the graph. Okay, so, and they want you to use the variable x. There's nothing special about x, that's just what they want you to use. And when you type it in, it's gotta be lowercase x. So, I mean, what did they shade, in everyday language, what did they shade in? Numbers that are what? He said it earlier, the word, what was the magic word?
Between.
Between what and what?
But wouldn't the one be equal to?
Between -3 and
We'll get there. Between -3 and 2.
Nathaniel Maurer?
He's on his way there.
Alright.
All right, thanks. My phone was acting up.
Have a good class.
Okay.
You have a phone now?
That was him who said that.
Huh? No, this class phone. Okay, so how we do this? We write the smaller number, -3. I would leave we always put less than symbols,
And then
and x.
greater than or equal to.
No, well, less than for both of them first,
Oh.
but, what did you say a few minutes ago?
The one's equal.
Which one? The one by the 2 or the one by the 3?
The two.
Why?
This guy is shaded.
It's shaded in. So that's what you're gonna type in. -3 is less than x is less than or equal to 2. Okay? Now, let's look at number 5. What do we have here? -7 and -4. -7 and -4. They closed? Okay. Okay, so that's what the graph looks like. They want you to come up with the inequality here, okay? Now, did they shade in between them?
No.
So it's not gonna look like this. What they shaded in were numbers that were to the left of -7,
So that means greater than. right?
to the left. To the left is what, bigger or smaller?
Less than.
So x is smaller than -7. Should I put an equal sign under it or not?
Yes,
Well,
it's
it's shaded in, so we're equal to. Now, there's a very key word here that
We
we've
put
already mentioned.
and, don't we?
Well, think about it. Think about this. Numbers, did I shade in numbers that were smaller than -7 and bigger than +8?
Or we put or.
Well, which is it, and or or?
Or.
X.
Because think about it. Think of a number smaller than -7 and bigger than 4.
There's none.
There isn't one. We shaded in numbers that were to the left of this or to the right of that. Or x is what? Bigger than or smaller than -4?
Bigger than or equal to.
Y equal to?
Because it's.
Just shade it in. So x is less than, and again, would it make a difference if I change that or to an and?
Yes,
Yes.
it would.
Because there is no number smaller than -7 and bigger than -4. There isn't one. It doesn't exist. Okay? It's kind of like saying, if I give you I'm going to give you 2 clues to my age. I'll tell you, I'll give you two clues to my son's age. You don't know how old he is. If I told you my son was older than 10 and younger than 7, how many clues is that? He's older than 10 and younger than 7.
He's all of the above.
I give you no clues. That's not possible. If you're older than 10, you can't be younger than 7. It's impossible. Now, what if I said you this? If I said he's older than 10 or he's younger than 7, is that possible?
That is.
Yeah. For example, could he be 11?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he's older. Could he be 8?
Yep. No.
Not that time. 'Cause he's got to be older than 10 or younger than 7. It'd be anything but except for between 7 and 10. It couldn't be between 7 and 10. Okay, let's look at number 7. This section I think is a little bit tougher. Okay, let's look at number 7. Okay, it says write a sentence as an inequality. Okay, it says a number, in this case it says a number p. Number p is less than 6 and greater than 2. Okay, so let's think about this. if it's less than 6 and greater than 2, we could say it's in between them. Okay, it's in between those. So, it's less than 6 and greater than 2. Okay, so it's got to be in between 2 and 6. Okay, now, it's less than 6. Could it be 6?
No.
No, so it's going to be open at 6. And it's got to be bigger than 2. Could it be 2?
No.
So it's got to be open. It's everything in between. Okay. So the inequality, how would I write the inequality?
2 is greater than,
Not greater.
less than.
2 is less than. And not x this time. They want what? P, lowercase p. Should I put an equal sign under it?
No, because it's closed.
And then what do I
I
do
mean,
here?
open is open.
Yep.
Less than
Less than.
6.
Okay, they're always less than symbols when they're in between. So number 9. Same thing. A number is more than negative 7 2/3 or at most. So it's an or statement. Okay, an or statement, so they're going to be shaded out. Okay, so we put a number is more than negative 7 2/3. So let's put negative 7 2/3. Okay, is more than. So where are we going to shade? To the left or to the right? To the right. Open or close? What's more than? Open. Close means no. If it's got any more than, it can't include it. Okay. And then this one's a little bit at most. At most, negative 10. So let's put negative 10 on here. This is where they start getting tricky. Okay. At most, negative 10. You see most, you might think, oh, more than. At most, like for example, if I said the most amount of money I got is $100, the most I got is $100. What does that mean?
That you're for.
I could I have $100?
Yes.
Could I have more than $100?
No.
It's actually less. At most actually means, what'd you say, Melania?
Less than.
Less than or equal to. What does at least mean?
Less than.
Not less than,
More
more than or equal to. Okay? So, we said it could or could not equal negative 10.
It could be less than. It
So-
goes to left, yeah?
So we include it into the left. Okay? Now, did we shade in between them?
No.
No, so we need to write, what's the variable P? M, they want M this time. Make sure you read the question carefully, okay? You'd be ashamed to miss it just because you used the wrong variable. We're using M this time because they said use M, okay? So M is what compared to negative 10?
Less than or equal to.
Less than or equal to negative 10. What's the very next thing I put?
Or.
Or M is bigger than negative 7 2/3. Now, to save you some time, are we supposed to do the graph or the inequalities?
Both.
Both. They want you to do both of them. So write them both down. Unless you want to have to do them later. Let's look at number 11. Okay. Now we need to solve it, and then we need to graph it. Now, I want to hear somebody say something particular before we move on. It says 6, is that an x? 6 is less than x plus 5. Is less than or equal to 11. Okay, so is this solved right now? No, why?
Because you haven't solved for x.
What does that mean, solve for x? Get rid of the
X
x?
is not by itself. Get rid of
How do I get, what do I have to get rid of?
Five.
Subtract 5 where?
both sides
Both sides, like
No.
6 and 11.
Not both sides.
to the 11.
What
Oh,
separates
no,
the
to the 6. Don't you do it to the 6?
You're on the right track. Usually you say both sides. No. What separates the sides?
Oh, the mark.
The greater than
Not-
both of them.
Both is 2.
All of them.
Oh, there's 2 of the signs. That's why I-
So how many sides are there?
There's 3.
There's 3 sides. Not both sides.
All 3.
There's 3 sides. There's a left side, a right side, and a middle side. Okay? We never had to deal with something like that. Okay? We need to subtract 5 to all sides. Minus 5, minus 5, minus 5. Now, keep in mind, sometimes we flip those inequalities around. When?
When you do a negative,
What do you mean you do a negative?
minus and negative.
Not a minus a negative, careful.
Divide or multiply?
Multiply or divide by negative. You're on the right track. So, 6 minus 5 is 1. is less than x is less than or equal to 11 minus 5 is 6. And we find x in between those. So our graph, we're going to have 1 and 6. And don't make this harder than it is. Where am I going to shade? One word. Where am I going to shade? He said it earlier. Cameron said it earlier. Where am I going to shade? Between. How do you know we're going to shade between it? Because where do you see x? Between them.
The right side.
X is between them, so you shade between them. Open dots or closed dots or
Shaded on the right side.
shaded at 6 because there's a line.
Yeah.
Open at 1 because there is no line. Okay. 13. Where was that 13? It was 11, now we're on to 13. Oh, that was, hang on a second, I'm sorry. We just did number 13. That was number 13. Cross that out, make it a 13. There is no number 11.
So pure.
15. Okay. So I want to make sure you guys understand, when we get to a question like number 15, it says v plus 8 is less than 3, or negative 8v is less than negative 40. Okay. When you see a statement like this, it says this or this. That doesn't mean, I'll do one or the other. That's not what it means, okay? You still need to solve both of them, okay? It's not like pick and choose whichever, this one or that one, okay? So on this one, we're not going to shade in between them, okay? Or statements are really, really, really simple. You just graph both of them and then you're done. That's all you do. But we're not ready to graph them yet. What do we have to do on this one?
We have to solve 8.
Minus 8. So v is less than 3 minus 8 is negative 5. How are we going to do on this one?
We are going to, it's already divide.
Divide by what?
Negative 4. I mean, negative 8.
Okay. Now, keep in mind, divide by negative 8.
You have to switch the signs.
Flip the inequality around.
Greater than.
Positive. Okay, so we've solved it. Okay, we solved it. Now what we need to do is graph it. For or statements, it's really, really simple for the graphs. Graph one, graph the other, you're all done. Okay, that's all you got to do. So, we put negative 5 on here. Open or close?
Open.
And shade to the
The right.
Well,
The
left.
left.
Okay. Then we put 5 on here. Open or closed?
Open.
And shade to the
Right.
right. And you're done. We shaded in everything that's smaller than negative 5 or bigger than 5. Is the number 10 a solution to this problem?
No.
Yeah, why?
Because it's bigger than 5.
That's all, and that's all it's going to be. One or the other. Is negative 20 a solution?
Yep.
Why?
Because it's smaller than negative.
How come? Is 1 a solution?
No.
Why isn't 1 a solution?
Because it's not.
It's not less than negative 5.
And it's not bigger.
It's not bigger than positive 5. It's neither one. It's got to be one or the other. Okay? 17. Okay, 2r plus 3 is less than something, 7, or, that says negative r, I'm going to make it negative 1r, plus 9 is less than or equal to 2. Okay, which of these are we ready to graph?
None.
Neither one are solved for. So, how are we going to solve the first one?
You have to
Subtract 3 to each side. 2r is less than 4. Now we ready to graph it?
No, you have to divide by.
Divide by 2. Flip the inequality around.
No.
We're dividing.
Well, it's not by negative.
Is that one ready to graph?
Yes.
And we'll graph it eventually, but not yet. Or, to solve that, we're going to subtract 9 each side. So negative 1r is less or equal to 2 minus 9 is negative 7.
Is there a real world use for this?
Sure.
What?
Well, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, the biggest thing with math is this. No, and it sounds like I'm punting, I'm not.
Yes,
The
that's
biggest
what
thing with math is it makes you think step by step logically, problem solving skills.
No, I mean like this,
Yeah.
what we're learning at this very
Oh,
moment.
yeah. I'll show you as soon as I'm done up here. Okay.
Yeah.
If you do some work, actually write anything on your paper, huh?
Pencil's broken, they turned it into a launcher. That's what I've been doing the entire class period.
Well, sitting there and not telling me that you needed a pencil, not the best strategy. I would like that back though. Okay, so now what do we do? We need to divide by -1. Okay, we're dividing by a negative, so we gotta flip it around while r is bigger than or equal to 7. Okay? And then we graph both of them. Put 2, open at 2 and shade to the left. 7, closed at 7 and shade to the right.
Can we start now?
Start what?
The assignment?
I wanted to get a few more, because there's a few more things we still haven't talked about. I'm still waiting on him to start his assignment.
This is not a part of the assignment.
you
This is
talking
just
about?
practice for
This is the assignment.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, you're telling us the answers to half of them, so why is it
Yeah,
considered a part of the assignment?
I'm doing it not just to get you a good score, I'm gonna get, so you'll learn it, but also, I mean, you wanna do them all on your, when you get lower than it, there's no excuse for getting lower than 50%. I mean, yeah, you could just write down the answers, you could. Okay, that's not really what I want you to do. So, I mean, do what you want, it's your choice, it's your grade. Number 19.
My grade is like a B plus, B minus. maybe.
Okay, so question number 19. So we have 12 is less than a half. Is that negative 12? Negative 12 is less than a half. Times something. 4x plus 16. 4x plus 16 is less than 18. Okay, any idea how we should start this one out? Distribute the half. And that's easy ones. Half of 4 is 2x. Half of 16 is 8. So we distributed half to 4x plus 16. Then what? Everywhere. Subtract 8 to the left, the middle, and the right. If we do that, a negative 12, take away 8 more is negative 20. So less than these cancel, 2x. 18 minus 8 is 10. Divide everywhere by 2. Now, I have a negative right here. Am I going to flip this around? Or not? Well, what are we dividing by?
No, you're not dividing by.
We do have a negative, but we're dividing by
A positive.
positive 2, so leave them alone, okay? So negative 10 is less than x is less than 5. So x is in between negative 10 and 5. So we put negative 10 and 5, open at both, shade in between.
I figured out what you're saying now, so now I know how to do it.
Right. And here's what we're going to do. So what I'd like to do is, we're only going to spend, here's what we're going to do. Tomorrow, I'm going to do like 3 questions with you guys, and then you have the hour to work, and then you have Wednesday to work on these. We're moving on to new material on Thursday though, okay? So usually we spend a couple days going over stuff, then a work day. Your work day is Wednesday, okay? So unless you want to work on Wednesday, I mean, you might be able to get done tomorrow in class, okay? But I mean, I would give you time, I'm giving you time now to click on the answers and maybe work on a few of the questions. The more you get done now, the less you'll have to do on Wednesday, hopefully, so. Okay, rest of the time's yours.
Can we pause?